Here is the July and income and expense for a single 25-year-old female living in Maryland. As you can see, she overspent her income by $850 this month. The first thing I always do when I'm looking at this is I go in and I copy and paste the spending into the budget so I can see next month's budget compared to this month's spending so I can figure out the easiest way to make changes. So I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. All right, now that that's done, I am going to go in here and look at the different categories and highlight items that we can come back and talk about um, later. When I'm looking at the housing, it's 43% of your income. The recommendation is 25%, so it's high, but this isn't a short term fix. You're not going to get a roommate overnight. Um, you're not going to move, so we're just going to move on for right now. Food and groceries, I do have some ideas, so we're going to come back to those. Personal care, the nails and gym membership look fine. Um, but I would say, the massage. Entertainment, nothing out of control, 7.5% of her income, but we'll discuss. I'm going to give all the ideas I have. Shopping, $250, 5% of your income. I think that's pretty reasonable. Um, so I'm just going to leave it. I mean, you could take it down for a month or two, but realistically, it's not a long term fix. So we're going to move on. Transportation, I have an idea there. And savings and debt, we're going to come back to. And prescription medicine, you need your meds. We're not going near that. The fun thing is, this budget was done in July, or this not budget. The spending was done in July, and this lady gets paid every Friday, and there's 4 Fridays in July. But if you get paid weekly, there are 4 magical months where you get that extra paycheck. And this is one of those magical months. August is. So I'm going to get to bump up her income for this month. There you go. That already leaves us with, we have extra this month, but let's see what else we can do because this is only a 4 month thing. The other 8 months are in trouble. So food and groceries. I would get rid of Blue Apron right now. If you get some debt paid down, then you can talk about it. But right now, I would get rid of it. Restaurants. She mentioned that she was a very social person, and these restaurants are going out to dinner with her friends. One thing I would suggest is doing a night in, having everyone come over and you kind of do a potluck. So you do a baked potato bar or spaghetti, something like that, and everyone brings one piece of the meal, and then you can all eat it together. You're still getting that social experience, but for a baked potato bar, I mean, someone brings a couple bags of cheese. You're talking $10 or less. Someone else brings the potatoes, also $10 or less. You can save a lot of money that way without um, cutting out your social life. Um, so I'm going to take that down to 250 because you're spending 31% of your income on food. That's a lot of money. $1,500 is a lot of money. I understand that there's a big social component to that, but you can keep the social component and figure out a different way. Grocery store, I'm also going to cut that a little bit. That's just a lot of food. That's just a lot of money for a single person. You can do meal prepping. What I've done before is I've meal prepped with friends, so it's a social aspect. You buy a whole bunch of ingredients together, and then you cook them all together or meal prep them all together, and then everyone walks away with food. You're getting to spend time with people, and you're you know saving money and getting food. It's a great activity. Another thing to do is look at your local grocery markets flyers. You know, buy that week what's on sale or shop local produce. There's a lot of different things you can do. So I'm going to take that down to 500. Personal care. I'm going with until we get a. So there's two massages this month. So I'm going to say until we get some of this debt paid down, we either need to cut it to quarterly, every 2 months, 1 month at the once a month at the most, but I would cut it way back. I'm taking it to zero. Entertainment. There's not much here, but I mean, something you could do is YouTube TV is expensive. You already have Netflix and Hulu. Is that something you can cut? It's not huge dollar amounts. It's just an idea I'm throwing out there. Nights out, cell phone. There are a lot of really cheap cell phone providers out here. I'll put a list up of different items, but some of them are $20, $30 a month. Um, they're cheap. Mint Mobile, I know, is one. I think it's $25 a line. My last suggestion is I saw that your nights out and your Ubers go together. Makes sense. You're going out, you're not driving home. It's what we want. No drunk driving. But what if you did a night in instead and you guys had a slumber party or, do something? Or the other idea is if you're going out with your good friends, go together and stay at someone's house. So you're splitting the Uber instead of everyone having their own Uber. Um, there's some ideas there. The dollar amount isn't huge, but those are things I would recommend. A slumber party with movies and snacks, and combine it with where you're doing, bringing your own food. That could be a really fun night. Oh, savings and debt. Okay, so as you can see, nothing was saved this month, which is definitely not ideal. And $900 was paid in debt, which is almost 18% of her after tax income. That's a lot. I mean, that's just a big chunk of your money. Um, so if I go and look at it, I can see your car loan. I mean, you're not that far off from paying it. Um, your savings, you have 400. You have a goal of 1,000. I mean, $600. And normally I would recommend on your emergency fund, build that up first. But in this case, with you being so close to paying off that car loan, and I mean, it's almost there and it's taking up such a large chunk of your take home, I would try to get rid of that if it was me. So that's what I'm going to do because this is my advice. So you had 1,100 left. And because you have that extra paycheck this month, there we go. Paid it off. So my next thing is you have an extra $640. Maybe we'll take that up to 600 this month, not go from 750 to 500. We'll just take you down 150. Maybe do 350 here, but then the rest of it goes there. That's my recommendation for what I would do. Yeah, I like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this budget over to August where it actually should be. And then I'm going to fill in September too, because in September, it's not one of those magical months where you get 5 paychecks. You only get 4. So I'm going to see what happens because this auto loan is paid off. And I'm going to kind of budget that a little bit too. So hold on while I do that. All right. I have that copied and pasted back. You can see September here. As you go in and fill in your transactions for August, it will automatically populate over there and you can easily track to see how it's going. Let's make some changes on September. Like I said, she only gets paid 4 times this month, and this is paid off, which is fun. So we are actually down, with just paying that $400 off, we are down to it being roughly 10% of her take-home pay, which is pretty big progress in 1 month, if you ask me. So she has $270 left. I think I'm just going to go ahead. I know with the amount that we would have saved last month in August, we would have already been over our emergency fund, but $1,000 emergency fund right now is just not that much. So I'm going to say we save it right now. Um, put some money in there that also allows if your car, have a repair or something like that, you have the money sitting there. So I think that's pretty good changes right now.